Welcome to my show. I am a guest here. His name is Jim Sabellico. Jim Sabellico, how are you doing, sir?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, sir. Um, Firstly, we know you started your first business at the age of 8, and you also run a large digital agency, and you are an author, a partner in a sushi restaurant, and you also own multiple software businesses. Can you walk us through how you started, how you're going, and the challenges, the setback you had, and how you are doing currently now, sir?
Sure. So I started, like you said, when I was 8 years old. I really just didn't want to sit around and be lazy. So I always had an example of both my parents were working, and I wanted to do something productive rather than sit around the house during the summer when there was no school. So I walked around my neighborhood and decided to cut grass for my neighbors, and was able to make a little bit of money every week. And that feeling of having the financial freedom and money, able to buy whatever I want, especially as a young kid. I didn't have any other expenses. I was able to uh, buy toys and do whatever I wanted as a little kid. It felt great, and I wanted more of that. So I continued different business ventures. I've been involved in a whole lot of different businesses over the years. Like you said, right now, my largest is a digital agency that really supports a lot of the other businesses in terms of having a development team to help kind of build some things, a marketing team in house. So that's sort of the engine, if you will, that helps run the rest of them. But I'm involved in a whole bunch of different businesses. A lot of them came from being customers originally, and then relationships developed and opportunities came up where I could get a little bit further involved and kind of help them grow beyond the just being a customer. And it's been a lot of fun. Um, yeah, there's been some opportunities that didn't work. Um, some things have failed pretty bad, but I like to think that some of the greatest blessings come after the greatest failures. So it's just a matter to me of looking for the opportunity in every failure and continuing to push forward and not give up when things get hard.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I would also like to ask, do you have any book you've published, or are you writing book currently, or are you thinking of writing a book, sir?
Both. So I have a book that I wrote, which is actually right back here. So it's the eight-figure handbook, or the handbook to building an eight-figure website. Um, I've Our agency, myself, have been involved in building a number of websites which have generated over eight figures in revenue. So I wrote a book just trying to break down that process as simple as possible. Um, that was the first book I wrote. I'm actually in the middle of writing a second book right now, which is a little bit more applicable to everybody. It's really just kind of a guide to live sort of complete life, not just be successful in business, but be successful in your relationships, in your finances, in your spirituality, in your physical health. So it's a bit of a different topic, but I'm enjoying that writing process now.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I would also like to ask, what do you think is the strategy that is most effective in the way of reaching a target audience when someone is going into something of promotion? What's the best way, best strategy someone can do to, reach a target audience, sir?
Be yourself. I see a lot of people who try and copy what someone else is doing, and then they get upset when it doesn't work, but they fail to realize it's already being done. Most people don't need you to be the one to do it if someone else is already doing it. Uh, Being yourself, showing up as your authentic, real version of you, telling your unique story, your background, your history, what makes you you, often leads to much better results. So a lot of people are scared to share that, but it typically works really well when you can just allow yourself to show up.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I would also like to ask, when it comes to marketing, what emerging trends in marketing do you find, most intriguing?
I would think the biggest strengths of marketing are storytelling and relationships. You're not really just selling a service or good, but it's really developing a relationship and hearing from the customer what their problem is and how you can solve that problem. So if you're willing to actually develop relationship with people and understand what their actual needs are, you'll do a much easier job of providing a service or selling a good because it's not you're not pushing something on them, you're just helping them solve a problem.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to go to the area of challenges. Can you share with us any challenging marketing problem you've faced and how you've decided to solve it that time, sir?
Let's see. I think one of the bigger marketing problems that we've faced, let me think for a second. I'll say at the sushi restaurant, when opening back up, it's a bit of a challenge because everyone wants everything instantly. So the restaurant was closed for about 2 years due to a fire. And when it opened back up, everyone imagined it would be exactly like it was from the day that it closed. And a lot of people don't realize it takes time to rebuild staff and to get everything back in working order. Um, and there was a good number of people who didn't want to wait for that. They expected immediate results. And so I think the answer to that we found to be most successful was just being honest with people and saying, "Hey, we'd love to be able to do this and this for you, but you have to be patient with us as we are just opening up," and kind of sharing some of the struggles, if you will, that you're going through. I think a lot of people try to put on this picture of being perfect all the time for their customers, and they never have any problems or never have any struggles. But I think when you can be a little bit more open and honest and say, right now we're having a hard time finding some staff to work, right? Because people just aren't applying or people aren't wanting to work, whatever the situation is. So it might be a little bit slower than you're used to, but being honest and sharing that with your customers instead of just pretending everything is perfect and then they come in because you want to get them to come in as a customer, and then they find out that it's not perfect. uh, it's definitely much better to be honest ahead of time.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I would just like to ask, in terms of tools, what tools do you think you find necessary for marketing efforts, sir?
um, Conversations. Your question is probably more like a website or something like that, but my answer is going to be talking to people, talking to your customers, talking to other business owners, talking to friends and relatives. It's really going to be having conversations with people and listening to them, asking for wisdom from business leaders who've done it before. Uh, I think there's a lot of power in relationships and conversation.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And in I want to ask, like, how important do you think content creation in marketing, how do you think is more effective? How do you think it can produce more customers to a service, sir?
It's very critical because it's really part of the conversation. It's your initial touch point with a lot of people. A lot of people will find your blog posts or a newsletter or an email, and it's the first time that they hear your voice. So if you can show up there in a way that makes them feel understood, makes them feel seen, makes them feel heard, then they're more willing to look further into your company or more into your content. So I think it's tremendously helpful. It's a great exposure tool. It's great for search engine marketing. It's great for social media. It's great for a lot of things. And I think when you can show up there authentically, not just use a tool like ChatGPT to, write 1,000 word article just because it's going to help you rank. But if someone reads that and they don't get a connection to you, or they don't understand the fact that you care about them as a customer, you're not going to convert that customer to buy anything. So I think content in general is very important, but I believe that the authenticity and the quality of the content being very personal and genuine is really going to make the biggest difference.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I would also like to ask, in terms of you spoke about your challenges. I would like to ask, in terms of your success, what area, in your business experience, what area have you find successful?
Uh, Freedom of time, I think, is the biggest success for me. Is to be able to do what I want when I want, where I want. So you know, if I decide today I want to uh, go to lunch with my kids, I can plan that and go do that. I don't need to feel like I'm stuck to my desk, or I'm not able to have the freedom financially or the freedom of my calendar to be able to do that. A lot of people want to build this business because they want to make money, and they think money is the answer. But ultimately, it's what money buys you is time and experiences. So if you're chasing time and experiences, and being able to actually enjoy the life that you're building, I think that's the biggest success you can have.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And I would like to ask, um, how do you think you stay updated in latest changes when it comes to advertising? Do you have any platform or area that you know that you check once in a while to know the updates when it comes to advertising, sir?
Um, I think TikTok is a great one for watching trends, but also listening to your customers and what they're complaining about. So if you wanted to look at a social, I think a lot of the conversations happening on TikTok currently, but it still comes down to wanting to hear feedback about what's not going well. And that's hard for a lot of people. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear all the great things that they're doing. But if you look for opportunities where people are upset, it gives you ideas and ways that you can help solve their problem. So definitely that would be my answer.
All right, so I want to go to the term of rate, review, customer, replies, and things like that. Do you think those things play a significant role in marketing areas too, sir?
Yes. Yeah, very much so. I think a lot of people look to ratings and reviews for trust, and to get feedback from other customers before they're willing to trust you. So if you have a business that has, a bunch of reviews, it's more likely that a customer will even look at you to consider if, you are a valid business and they want to do business with you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And I would also like to ask, what advice, generally, what advice can you give to anyone who is just reaching out, who is just starting to go into the area of marketing or advertising, sir? What advice can you give to such person, sir?
Remember what the purpose of it is to help people and to serve people, not to sell them stuff. If you can focus on how can I help this person in front of me, not how can I sell them something, you'll have a much better success rate. You'll have more fun doing it. Uh, you'll be less stressed. I think a lot of people look at how can I sell this person something, because your boss says, "Hey, your job is to sell 10,000 of these widgets per month," and you're just looking for 10,000 people to buy them. But if you can instead understand how you can help that one single individual person live a better life because this product or service is in it, and you just focus on how do you help people genuinely have a better life experience, it becomes so much easier and it's less stressful. So focus on helping, not selling.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. I really appreciate you. There is a question I normally ask from the forefathers, from the ancestors. If there is anything you would like to bring back to our time today, What do you think that thing would be, sir?
Hmm. Um, I would probably say a deeper sense of pride. Uh, I think there used to be a lot of pride in what you built and what you accomplished for your family and for your community. And I think right now people are a little bit more focused on stuff. They want to buy a nice car, they want to have a nice house, and they forget about building a legacy and supporting a family and helping their community. And I would love to see a little bit more emphasis put back on how do we serve our community? How do we, take care of our neighbors? How do we take care of our family legacy for 4 generations from now? And understand that it's not just accumulating stuff, but really taking care of a bigger picture.
All right, sir. Mr. Jim, I really want to appreciate you for the little time you gave to me for making our meeting a successful one. I want to say thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you too.